Okay, hello. We are going to talk today about the mean value theorem for integrals. Now, we had a mean value theorem for differentiation, but this is our mean value theorem for integrals. And it says that if f is continuous on the closed interval a to b, then there exists a number c in the closed interval a to b such that the integral of f of x dx from a to b is equal to f of c times b minus a. And f of c is that average value of f on the interval a to b. So there must be an average value there. That's what we're saying. So if we have the average value of a function on an interval, if f is integrable, what a weird word, right? On the closed interval a to b, then the average value of f is 1 over b minus a from a to b times f of x. So I'm just going to go through an example of this, and I think it'll kind of make more sense here. So we have given f of x is equal to 3x squared minus 2x. We want to find the average value of f on the interval from 1 to 4. So we are given, we're going to use this formula up here. So we're going to take 1 over 4 minus 1 times the integral from 1 to 4 of our function, 3x squared minus 2x. And of course, that's with respect to x dx. If you want, you can put that in parentheses. So this is going to be equal to 1/3 times the integral from 1 to 4 of 3x squared minus 2x dx, which is equal to 1/3 times, okay, we're going to have, looks like x cubed minus x squared minus x squared. And we're going to evaluate that from 1 to 4. So I'm going to have 1/3 times 4 cubed. What is that, 64? Yes, it's 64. I'm not as dumb as I look, kids. 64 minus 16 minus 1 minus 1. So we're going to have, 64 minus 16 is 48. We have 1/3 times 48. Of course, that's time minus 0, right? And 1/3, equal to 16. Okay? So what does that mean? The average value on this interval is 16. And we want to find the value that's guaranteed by the mean value theorem. So we know that our integral from 1 to 4 of 3x squared minus 2x dx is going to be equal to f of c times 4 minus 1, right? Well, f of c we already found. F of c is equal to 16, right? So, let me pause for a second here. Okay, so we have our f of c. We already found that average value. And we need to know, when is this function going to be equal to that average value? At what value c is this going to be equal? So we're going to say that 3, and I'm going to say c squared minus 2c is equal to 16, right? We're trying to find when this will be for that. So I can have 3c squared minus 2c minus 16 equals 0. And if I factor this, I've got 3c minus 8, c plus 2 equals 0. So c could be equal to 8/3, or c could be equal to negative 2. Well, you'll see here c cannot be equal to negative 2 because it's not on our interval there. So c is going to have to be 8/3. All right? So that's our answer. That is our answer. When is f of c equal to this? When c is equal to 8/3. All right. Okay, so I did do that correctly. I don't know, I can't even remember why I paused now, but I wanted to show you that if you graph this on a calculator, so I graph 3x squared minus 2x, and if I trace this at 8/3, look it's 16. So I do have a point there at 8/3 where I'm equal to that average value on the function. Okay, let's do another example. A little bit word problem this time. So the point of integration is that we are able to find an amount, okay? So let's say we have, suppose C of t represents the daily cost for air conditioning in your house in dollars per day, where t is the time in days and t equals 0, so it corresponds to July 1st, 2017. So that's when you're starting to use air conditioning. Explain what the following expressions represent in real world terms, including the units. Well, here we have the integral from 0 to 90 of C of t dt. What's that going to be? If you think about it, I told you this is finding an amount of something. That's what we can do with integration. This is going to be our total cost. the total cost to cool our house, to cool the house for basically T is time is for 90 days, right? For 90 days, so 3 months, July, August, September. So for until September 1st, 2017, right? The total cost to air condition the house for 90 days. You understand the idea. You can write it how you want. But what's this 1 over 90 minus 0 from 0 to 90 of C of T dt? Well, that's not just going to be the total cost. That's going to be the average cost. That's our average cost to cool the house. Average cost to, to cool the house in how? What's that unit? In dollars per day for 90 days. For 90 days starting on July 1, 2017, right? So I think that'll kind of give you a better idea of what really is going on here. So let's do one more final example with population. So in 2000, the world's population was 6.1 billion, and the relative rate of growth was 1.4% per year. This can be modeled by the function n of t equals 6.1 e to the 0.014 t. And this is a real exponential growth function, so very practical, where n is in billions and t is the number of years since 2000. Assuming this model remains true until 2050, find the average population of the world between the years of 2010 and 2020. What are the units? Well, what we're going to do here, we need to find our average between 2010 and 2020. So I'm going to take 1 over, and you could use 2020, 2010, but it's just going to be exactly as easy to use 20 minus 10, right? And that's going to be the integral. We started at 2000, right? So 2000 is 0, so that means that 2010 is just 10. And we're going to 2020, so that's 20. And we're finding the amount of this integral here. So I'm going to write 6.1 e to the 0.014 t dt. And honestly, students, do not do this calculation on your own. This is crazy talk. Let's go to our calculator. So we're going to have 1/10 times math 9, the integral of from 10 to 20 of 6.1 e to the 0.014 t, and don't worry, as time goes on, I'll actually teach you how to do that t stuff, x, but now we can just use x, and we're going to calculate, and we get 7 point, so this is about 7.5316. You see that there? I rounded up. Don't forget, on the AP exam, you should use 3 decimal places, always, 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 always. I like 4 because I'm an overachiever. And 7.5316 what? Billion people, right? Billion people. On average, for 2010 to 2020, right? So that should make sense to you. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you in class, and I will see you later. Goodbye.